there's this moment that keeps replaying in your head. Maybe it's something someone said, something you did, a choice you wish you could take back. And you know what's strange? That moment, it might have happened years ago, but it's still here, right now, living rent-free in your mind. I've been there, trust me. I've carried things that had no business being in my present, things that belong to a version of me that doesn't exist anymore. And one day I realized something that changed everything. The past, it doesn't own you. It never did. You're the one keeping it alive. Because here's the truth, most people don't want to hear. You can't edit what's already been written. You can't to rewind time. You can't unsay the words or undo the damage. But what you can do is stop giving the past permission to write your future. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Not about forgetting, not about pretending it didn't hurt, but about something deeper, something that actually works. How to let go, how to release what's already gone, how to stop being haunted by ghosts that only exist because you keep feeding them. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share, it's not theory, it's survival. Let's begin. You know what's interesting about the past? It has no weight, no physical form. It doesn't take up space in your house or in your closet, but somehow it's the heaviest thing you carry. I remember working on a film once, long shoot, months away from home, and there was this scene, this moment where my character had to confront something from his past. And the director said something to me. He said, "You know the difference between guilt and shame? Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am bad." And that hit me. Because I realized so many of us are walking around carrying shame. Not just guilt for what we did, but shame for who we think we are because of it. And that's where the weight comes from. Not from the past itself, but from the story we keep telling ourselves about it. Think about it. How many times have you replayed that conversation? That breakup, that failure? How many hours have you spent in the courtroom of your own mind prosecuting yourself for something that already happened? And here's the thing, you're not reviewing it to learn from it. You're reviewing it to punish yourself. You're carrying weight that was never meant to be carried this long. Let me ask you something. If someone wronged you 5 years ago and you spent every day since then thinking about it, reliving it, letting it poison your peace, who's really in prison? Not them, you. Because here's what happens. When you hold on to the past, when you grip it like it's the only thing keeping you alive, you build walls, not to keep others out, but to keep yourself in. You stop trusting. You stop trying. You stop believing that things could be different. Because the past, it becomes your proof. Proof that you're not good enough. Proof that people will hurt you. Proof that you'll always fail. And so you stop living. You start surviving. I've seen it in myself, in people I love, the way the past becomes this invisible cage, this thing you can't see, but you can feel every time you try to move forward and something holds you back. And the crazy part? You're the one with the key. You always have been. The past doesn't lock you in. You do. By refusing to let go. By refusing to accept that what happened already happened. You can't change it. You can't fix it. You can't make it unhappen. But you can stop letting it define what happens next. Here's something I learned the hard way. The past isn't the problem. It's the story you tell about the past. Because what happened, that's just facts. Data, events, in time. But the meaning you give it, that's the story. And that story, that's what controls your life. I knew someone once, someone who had everything going for them. Talented, smart, good heart. But they had this thing, this story they told themselves, I'm not enough. I'll never be enough because of what happened to me. And that story, it became their identity. It became the lens through which they saw everything. Every opportunity, I'm not enough for this. Every relationship, they'll leave once they see the real me. Every success, this won't last. It never does. And the thing is, none of that was true. It was just a story they kept repeating until they believed it. Your past doesn't define you, but the story you tell about your past, that will, because if your story is I'm broken because of what they did, you'll stay broken. If your story is I failed once, so I'll always fail, you'll keep proving yourself right. But if your story is I survived, I learned, I'm still here, everything changes. Same past, different story, different life. Let's talk about something uncomfortable, forgiveness. Now, I know what you're thinking, Keanu, you don't know what they did. You don't know how bad it was. You're right. I don't, but I do know this. Holding on to anger, to resentment, to that need for revenge, it's like drinking poison and expecting them to die. Forgiveness isn't about them. It never was. It's not about saying what they did was okay. It's not about letting them off the hook. It's not about being weak or being a doormat. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself. It's saying what you did was wrong. It hurt, but I'm not going to let it hurt me anymore. I remember reading something once. It said, forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And that hit me hard, because that's what we're doing when we can't let go, right? We're still hoping, still wishing, still playing out scenarios in our heads where things went differently, where they apologized, where we said something different, where we made the other choice, but it didn't happen that way. And it never will. The past is the past. And the only way to be free is to stop trying to rewrite what's already written. Now, does that mean you have to talk to them? Hug them? Pretend like nothing happened? No. Forgiveness doesn't require their participation. It doesn't even require them to know. You can forgive someone and never speak to them again. You can forgive someone and still have boundaries. You can forgive someone and still acknowledge they were wrong, because forgiveness isn't reconciliation. It's release. It's you putting down the weight, walking away, and refusing to carry it one more step. Here's something no one tells you. Sometimes the person you need to forgive most is yourself. And that's the hardest one, because everyone else, you can walk away from them, cut them off, remove them from your life. But yourself, you're stuck with you. And so you keep replaying it. Keep judging yourself. Keep holding yourself to a standard that you'd never hold anyone else to. I should have known better. I should have seen it coming. I should have been stronger. Should. But here's the thing, you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. That version of you, the one who made that choice, who said those words, who didn't speak up, and that person was doing their best. They didn't have the wisdom you have now. They didn't have the perspective. They didn't see what you can see. Looking back and punishing yourself now for something you did then, it doesn't change anything. It just keeps you stuck. Self-forgiveness isn't about making excuses. It's about understanding. It's about looking at that version of yourself, the one you've been so angry at, and saying, I see you. I see you were scared. I see you were hurt. I see you didn't know what to do, and I forgive you. Because here's the truth. You can't move forward if you're constantly looking back with resentment. You can't build a new life if you're still tearing yourself down for the old one. At some point, you have to decide you're worth forgiving, even if no one else does, especially if no one else does. You know what's strange? The things that hurt us the most often teach us the most, not because pain is good. It's not. Pain sucks. But because pain forces us to look, to pay attention, to see things we were ignoring. Every failure you've had, it taught you resilience. Every betrayal, it showed you who not to trust. Every loss, it reminded you what matters. And I know it doesn't feel like a gift when you're in it. When you're in the middle of the pain, the last thing you want to hear is, this is a lesson. But once you're through it, once you're on the other side, you'll look back and see that moment, that thing you thought would break you, it made you. I've lost people I loved. I've had projects fall apart. I've had moments where I thought, I don't know if I can come back from this. But I did. And every time, I came back different. Stronger, maybe, or softer, or wiser. Not because I wanted to go through it, but because going through it changed something in me. And that's what the past does. It shapes you. But it doesn't have to scar you. You get to decide what the lesson is. You get to decide what you take with you and what you leave behind. Because here's the thing, you can let the past break you, or you can let it build you. You can let it be the reason you quit, or the reason you fight harder. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. Same past, different outcome. And the choice, that's yours. Let's talk about something everyone's chasing. Closure. That moment when it all makes sense. When you get the apology, when they finally admit they were wrong, when the universe gives you the explanation you've been waiting for. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the time, you're not going to get it. People don't always apologize. Situations don't always resolve. And life doesn't owe you an explanation. Some things just end. No goodbye, no closure, no clean resolution. And you're left there waiting, hoping, replaying, searching for answers that aren't coming. But here's what I've learned. Closure isn't something someone else gives you. It's something you give yourself. It's deciding, I may never know why, I may never understand, but I'm not going to keep waiting for it. It's choosing peace over certainty. It's choosing to move forward, even when the chapter didn't end the way you wanted. Because you can spend your whole life waiting for that person to admit they were wrong. You can spend years hoping for the explanation that makes it all make sense. Or you can close the door yourself. Not because you have all the answers, but because you don't need them anymore. You write your own ending. You give yourself permission to move on. And that's real closure, the kind no one can take away. So how do you actually let go? Because it's one thing to say, let it go. It's another thing to do it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not easy. It's not one decision. It's 100 decisions every day, sometimes every hour. But here's what's helped me. First, you have to stop feeding it. Every time you replay that moment, every time you stalk their social media, every time you tell the story to someone new, you're keeping it alive. You're giving it energy. You're watering the seed. And then you wonder why it keeps growing. If you want to let go, you have to stop giving it attention. Second, you have to feel it. I know that sounds backwards, but you can't release what you haven't felt. So if you're angry, be angry. If you're sad, be sad. Don't push it down. Don't pretend it's not there. Don't numb it with distractions. Feel it fully. Let it move through you like a wave. Because emotions aren't the problem. It's when you hold them in, when you trap them, when you refuse to let them pass. That's when they become toxic. Third, you have to create new memories. Because if all you have is the past, that's all you'll think about. But if you start building new experiences, new relationships, new versions of yourself, the past starts to fade. Not because you're running from it, but because you're outgrowing it. You're creating a life so full, so rich, that there's just no room for what used to haunt you. And finally, you have to be patient. Letting go isn't a light switch. It's not one moment where everything changes. It's gradual. It's a process. Some days you'll feel free. Some days you'll feel stuck again. And that's okay. That's normal. That's human. You're not failing if it takes time. You're just healing. And healing, it doesn't happen on your timeline. You want to know what life looks like after you let go. It's lighter, simpler, quieter. Not because your problems go away, but because you stop carrying ones that aren't yours anymore. You stop waking up with that weight on your chest. You stop checking your phone hoping for closure. You stop telling the story that kept you stuck. And here's what's wild. The people who hurt you, they're not thinking about it. They moved on. They're living their lives. And the only person still carrying it was you. But now you're free. You walk into rooms differently. You talk to people differently. You make choices differently because you're not making decisions out of fear anymore. You're not trying to prove something. You're not protecting yourself from ghosts. You're just present here, now. And that presence, that peace, that's the real victory. Not revenge, not proving them wrong, not getting the apology, but becoming someone who doesn't need any of that to be okay. Becoming someone who can look at the past and say, that happened, it hurt, but it doesn't own me anymore. That's freedom, and it's yours whenever you're ready to claim it. So here we are. You've been carrying the past, maybe for years, maybe for decades. And I'm not going to tell you it's your fault. I'm not going to tell you to just get over it because I know it's not that simple. But what I am going to tell you is that you have a choice. You can keep living in yesterday, keep replaying it, keep letting it dictate who you are and what you do, or you can start writing a new chapter. One where the past is just context, not the story, just background, not your identity. You can be the person who got hurt and healed, the person who failed and tried again, the person who lost and rebuilt. And I'll be honest with you, it's not going to be easy. There will be days when it creeps back in, when you feel that old weight on your shoulders, when you're tempted to go back to the story you've been telling for so long. But each time you'll have a choice. Do I stay here or do I keep walking forward? And if you keep choosing forward, even if it's just one step at a time, eventually you'll look back and realize how far you've come. You'll realize the past isn't chasing you anymore because you stopped running from it. You faced it, you felt it, you released it, and now you're free. Not because you forget, but because you remember and you're okay anyway. So here's where we are. You came here carrying something heavy, something from your past that's been weighing you down. And if you've made it this far, I think you're ready to put it down. Not because I told you to, but because you're tired. Tired of carrying what was never meant to be carried this long. The past happened, and you can't change it. But you can change what you do with it. You can let it define you, or you can let it teach you. You can let it break you, or you can let it make you. You can hold on to it like it's the only thing you have, or you can release it and make room for what's coming. And I know letting go feels like losing something. Like if you let go, you're saying it didn't matter, that it wasn't important. But that's not what letting go means. Letting go means it mattered so much that you're not going to let it ruin the rest of your life. It means you care about yourself more than you care about being right or getting even or waiting for closure. It means you're choosing peace over punishment, freedom over resentment, your future over their past. So tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to try something. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine yourself letting it go. Not forcing it, not pushing it away, just opening your hands, releasing your grip. And as you exhale, feel it leave. Feel the weight lift. Feel the space open up. And say to yourself, the past is over. I'm still here, and I choose to be free. Say it once. Say it 100 times. Whatever it takes, because you deserve to be free. Not someday, not when you're perfect or when they apologize or when it all makes sense. Right now, today, you deserve to be free. The past doesn't own you. It never did. You just gave it permission. And now you're taking that permission back. You're reclaiming your power, your peace, your future. And that's the most powerful thing you can do. If this video helped you, if it gave you even one moment of peace or clarity, leave a comment. Let me know what you're letting go of. Sometimes just naming it makes it lighter. And if you're ready to take the next step, if you're ready to go deeper into healing, there's another video you need to watch. It's about something even harder than letting go of your past. It's about forgiving yourself. So when this ends, don't go anywhere. Just let it play, because that's where the real work begins. Take care of yourself. You've been through enough. It's time to be free.